the local tourney and get matched with my dame. Just one more goat bounce and I've got the game. Then on her turn she plays Shift Donald Duck. Gosh, it seems that I've run out of luck.
Come on now, let's play some Lorcana. With such a sugar rush, it's a nirvana. We'll rip a booster pack or four, start food fights and roast a smorgasbord of Lords Lorcana.
Katie, what are we doing here?
Oh, who can say?
I mean, ultimately, we're sitting here talking about whatever we want to as long as it relates to Lorcana, Disney, and or snack food.
Yeah, I mean, pretty sweet gig.
I guess so, and we're just hoping that people will tune in and listen to it.
It could be that everyone that we've seen who's told us about the podcast or friends who listen are all lying.
So this could be for nobody.
Could be for no one.
Screaming into the void.
The void, the void.
I don't think so, though.
Nah, I don't think so either. Nah, it's good. It's good. We love that people listen.
We're having
so nice.
So much fun.
We're having a literal blast.
And it's nice to hear when people are having fun with us.
Indeed. I'm Katie.
I'm Brett.
And you are listening to
Smorcana.
We had quite a thrill, speaking of people who listen, when a listener, Chris, had us sign some cards yesterday at a set champ.
He asked me to deface a Donald Duck pie slinger, and I was reluctant to, I don't know, potentially damage the most valuable card in the history of Lorcana, but you know what? My ego got the better of me, and I scribbled all over it.
Yeah, have you ever felt more like a god?
Nope.
It was awesome. I loved it so much. As soon as it happened, I was like, that's the first thing we have to talk about on the pod. It's
ego
happening.
Boost, big
Yes.
time.
It does feel nice. It's cool.
Is there an ego boost sound effect?
Whoop.
Oh, that was very, nice.
Yeah, well,
Very
I was on the
simple.
spot.
Yeah.
So what's going on right now, Brett? What's going on in the world of Lorcana?
Well, I think it's time to announce the winner of our giveaway.
Giveaway!
We had well over 200 entries.
Yeah, so many entries all day after we posted that. For the first couple of days, it was just constant.
So we have all of the entrants pulled from Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We've got every single one entered into wheelofnames.com. We're going to spin this wheel right now as we are recording, and we're going to have a winner. Here we go. You ready?
Here we go.
Click to spin. Right.
Click, 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 click.
Melanie Delaree. Melanie Delaree from our Facebook, I believe.
Oh, wow,
because if
nice.
it's giving us a full name like that, that means they're from Facebook. So that's awesome. Congrats to Melanie.
Woo!
We'll get in touch with you shortly to get your address and get your goodies sent on out to you. You won some pins and a deck box and some other cool swag.
Swag!
If you didn't win this time, be sure to keep on following, keep on listening, because it is something that we like to do, I don't know, once every month or so. So, there's always next time.
Wow, there's nothing like a good giveaway. That gets me amped, I tell ya.
What else is going on in the world of Lorcana, Katie?
Well, we once again are blessed to have friends who have their boots on the ground in a Disney park. Jess and Tanya have been the latest ones kind of carrying that baton for our team here.
Shout out to the cool soccer moms.
Yes, and we currently have Rob and Laura on the ground in Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida.
They are honeymooning there for the week.
Ooh!
And they've been asking you in particular for advice for a while now to try to get some tips about what to see and where to go. And finally, the trip has come. They are down there right now.
Yes, we are vicariously living through them. They already sent us a picture this morning of Dole Whips, which made us both very jealous.
And a picture of their towels in their hotel room folded into the shape of Mickey's with a whole bunch of packs of Lorcana cards sprinkled over the bed.
Yeah, they had packs from each set sprinkled all over the place. It was like, oh, so cute.
Let the magical pulls commence. Good luck to them ripping their packs. We hope that they have a wonderful week. They're going to Mickey's Not So Scary.
Oh, yes. We love Mickey's Not So Scary. We've only done it once. but it is so much fun. You get so much candy. It's like a big trick-or-treating party as an adult, and you get to ride Disney rides. It's like the highest of highs.
They have a rolling Monsters, Inc. laugh floor that you can walk through, and they just have performers for the entirety of the event, cracking jokes about people as they walk through and do their trick-or-treating. There are live pirates and Pirates of the Caribbean. There are live or dead ghosts at the Haunted Mansion that are improvising with folks waiting in line. So it's just really, really a cool event to celebrate the season. So we hope they enjoy that while they're down there.
Yeah, we hope they stock up on candy. We had candy that lasted us for like a year after that. And we love candy. So it was great. We wish them the best of times. There is a bit of a hurricane coming through, but when isn't there a hurricane coming through Florida? It feels like there's every other week there's a hurricane. So what are you going to do, And sometimes in Disney World, when it hurricanes, it gets even cooler. You get to see stuff that you would never normally see. Sometimes if they have to close a park for any reason, they'll put cast members who would be working in the park into the hotels to kind of add that, boost that guest service and have more activities in the lobby or have different special snacks and games and all kinds of cool stuff. So, even if a hurricane, becomes so dangerous that you have to hunker down, they figure out a way to make it magical. So it's still going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We're hoping that everybody stays safe down there, that there's not too much in the way of damages across the state, and that everybody has a good time at Disney World this week.
Yeah.
What's going on for the night? What are we snacking on?
We're snacking on so much stuff. So we're going to talk about set champs that we've been at this last weekend. And then I believe Francois has a new kitchen gadget for us to check out this evening. He's been talking a lot about it. I know they ordered it a couple months ago, so he can't wait to show us.
Sounds great. Want to get right into it?
Let's hit it.
Bonsoir, madame et monsieur. Comment ça va?
Oh, we're doing well, Francois. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very, very much. I apologize, but our new kitchen utensil is not quite ready to bring to you. It will be just a few more moments.
Oh, that's all right, Francois. No problem. We're here all night.
Thanks, Francois.
Oh, I'm very excited about this new technology.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect.
Hey, while we're waiting, they brought us some breadsticks to munch on here. What was that champs like for you this weekend? You went to 2. I only went to 1.
Yeah, I had a good time. Filled the weekend with Lorcana. It was a great time. Got to see a lot of pals and play some Lorcana.
Nice. What deck did you bring on Saturday? Saturday you were in Portland. I was not there for that one.
Yeah, so I made a kind of promise to myself that I was going to have a little more fun this set champ season. I wasn't going to get stuck like I did last time on Sapphire Steel and just keep grinding it and grinding it and grinding it and kind of obsess over every little card choice and, really, really get locked into that one deck at the expense, I think, of maybe enjoying the whole of the set.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take it a little more casually, do some home brewing, and let it fly.
I think that's really smart. I mean, we got to practice what we preach on the podcast, right? If you're not having fun, what are you doing? You can't get too focused in on it. At the end of the day, it's winning a card, which is cool, a very cool card, and it's super fun to compete for something. That competitive edge is always a fun, exciting time, but at the end of the day, you should just have fun playing Lorcana.
Yeah. So on the Saturday, I brought a bit of a homebrew Amber Emerald Mufasa list that I had been working on with Archer for a couple of weeks. It basically was built on the premise of trying to go faster than Ruby Sapphire, go under Ruby Sapphire, and also to withstand the direct damage songs of Steel Song, because those were the 2 big meta decks while we were crafting it. And then, of course, Emerald Steel kind of came along and threw a big wrench in the works. But I had taken it to a local tournament last week, and I had done very well, and it felt really strong. I had some fun card choices like Heart of Atlantis so that I could play that on turn 4 with one of the really strong 2-drops, and then play Surfer Stitch the next turn. It had Perdita with a whole bunch of, really strong 2-drops, because you've got Bonsai and Sir Hiss and Ursula and the 2-drop Mother Gothel. So lots of options. It was really, really fun. So I decided to take that on Saturday, but I made a bunch of changes. I wasn't super confident in a lot of the new twists that I had added for that event. And so I made it more conventional and put in like Pegasus and a few more 1-drops and proceeded to get absolutely smoked by Emerald Steel. I played Emerald Steel for 4 out of 4 rounds, and I felt pretty powerless to stop them if they played a Tinkerbell. Like, as soon as Tinkerbell hit the board, I had no answers to Tinkerbell. I had taken out all of the top end out of my list, and so what had made it successful a few days previously against Emerald Steel, all of a sudden that was lacking, and it kind of fell on my face a bit. I finished kind of middle of the pack, and it was fine. I had a good time. It was not the most fun to play against the same deck for 4 out of 4 rounds, but it is what it is. I really liked the deck that we built. It's really fun to flip Mufasa. Perdita's a really fun card to play.
It's so tricky. You never know exactly the matchups that you're going to face on the day, right? And that if that had been a completely different group of decks, that might have been a completely different turnout. It's tricky. It's a tricky meta to figure out in such a small area. And I'd be curious to see if you brought that deck to Seattle, what would happen with it.
Probably the same, because I think we're going to see a lot of Emerald Steel in Seattle too.
That's a fair point.
But I do think that there's more merit to the deck when it does have that bit of a more top end with the Surfer Stitches and the Shift Mother Gothel cards like that to give you some game past turns 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, nice. You had never been to the Portland Diversions either, so that was exciting for you.
Yeah, it was really nice. Expected it to be just as wonderful as the other Diversions locations, and sure enough, it was. So if you're in the New Hampshire and or Maine areas, we once again recommend hitting up the Diversions.
As always. So on Sunday, we both played in a set champ in Portsmouth.
It was so much fun to see a bunch of pals again on Sunday, even more pals, I think. And we were talking about, our decks and the meta and the podcast a little bit. And it turns out that your sound effects are starting to take on a life of their own.
Yeah, I'm a big deal. I already knew this. I knew that my talents someday would all be worth it and that I would be a millionaire from it.
You're specifically talking about your ability to emulate the sounds of different machines and things, right?
Yes. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that part of my job is making sound effects at everything that I do. I'm a professional.
You have to keep those kids entertained somehow. And when you're saying things like, the Globe is the most historic theater in Western drama, you have to kind of bookend that with a sound effect like,
oh, the Globe! What's the Globe all about? What could that be?
The Globe is one of the most famous theaters in all of England.
Just imagine being a 7th grade child in one of those classes.
I'm not going to say that they all like it, but they all remember it. So, at the end of the day, there you go.
I think they're very lucky to have you.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if they start sending me therapist bills in, 10 years. Then I'll know. I'll know what I've done.
Anyway, I think we're going to develop a Smorcana soundboard. We're going to have Katie record a bunch of sound effects related to the podcast, and then we're going to post that online so that if you want to have Katie at your beck and call making a bunch of ridiculous noises, then, you should have that ability.
It's going to be $1,000 to download. But after you have that, then you've got my talents. So really, it's priceless. So $1,000 is a steal.
So let's talk about this tournament. What did you bring to play, Katie?
I brought the Steel Song Twist that I had been playing for a couple of weeks. I'd mentioned before on the podcast that I wanted to get into Steel Song. It was a deck that I hadn't really played that much before. I had played a handful of games with it just from, being at the store, borrowing someone else's deck, playing our Steel Song deck that we had for like a month. So it was a lot of fun to try a Steel Song. I feel like it did pretty well on the day. It was a little more aggro-ish, which is a much more comfortable kind of play style for me than a combo-y kind of a deck, which I think sometimes Steel Song in its more original fashion can be a little bit more combo-ish and a little more planning-ish. And I just really like reacting to the board state and going for face, as they used to say in Hearthstone. Really just chunking up that lore and just fighting is my favorite way to go. So I appreciated that about the deck. I really don't have any notes about my deck. I felt like I had a good chance in almost all the matchups that I played, except for my matchup against a fellow Katie. Once again, dear listener, I found myself in a top 8 with a fellow Katie. It was a different Katie this time. A Katie I had not met before. This Katie did not put an E on her Katie. She was too cool. I should have known from there that I was bound to lose. She was playing the classic Steel Song list, which is Poison for my deck, but we had a lot of fun. I took one game against it, which felt like an achievement to me. And with the new way that they're running set champs, I ended up with a Mirabelle, which was awesome. I totally got plowed as soon as I got to the top 8, but still, it was fun. And now we've got a little glittery Mirabelle, so it was a good time.
Yeah, way to go. You had a really good run, and it makes a lot of sense that you would struggle against that more conventional Steel Song list. It's basically like your list, except with much more removal and much bigger characters. And
except better, yeah.
Yeah. So they're not quite as quick. They don't have as good of a matchup into things like Ruby Sapphire, but in that pseudo mirror, that deck absolutely has a massive advantage.
Definitely. And I don't want to play that deck. I don't like how that deck is played. I don't have as much fun playing it. So I am happy with my deck, and it might be the one I take to Seattle. I'm not totally sure yet, but I definitely had a good time with it. Okay, how about you, Brett? You did back-to-back set champs. How'd that go for you? How did it go for you stamina-wise? That's what I first want to know. And then I want to know what deck you brought.
So stamina-wise, first of all, I had no issues. That's definitely the thing that I do best in card games, is just like I can play forever and ever and not get tired of playing.
It's definitely your superpower, yep.
I can lose and lose and lose and lose. I could play 100 games and lose every game, and as long as I get to play different decks and try new cards, I'm happy as a clam.
Yeah, it's a great superpower. It's one that a lot of people don't have. I know it's one I certainly don't have.
So yeah, I didn't struggle playing Lorcana all weekend. I was very fortunate to do that. I felt only luck and joy.
Yeah, nice. What deck did you bring?
So I brought a Sapphire Steel list.
Oh, no!
Much to the chagrin of everybody in our meta who's like, Brett, why are you playing Sapphire Steel still?
I could tell who you were talking about your deck with from across the room, because their shoulders would start to slouch and they'd be like, oh no, Brett.
But it was different. It was different this time, I swear.
Yeah.
So after Saturday, a bunch of us went out for dinner and some libations, and feeling a little bit under the influence afterwards. And luckily, Johnny was driving, which was great for me. Thanks, Johnny. Johnny dropped Pete and I off here, and we sort of, with a little bit of a buzz, threw some Sapphire Steel cards together. It had some fun twists like the 7-drop Arthur, which I really, really liked. I had 4 Visions of the Future and no A Whole New World, and it had Chen Po. And just some fun cards that I wanted to throw in a deck, and I didn't want to play A Whole New World. And so, yeah, I threw that together in 10 or 15 minutes. Had no reps on it going into Sunday, but just kind of had that baseline Sapphire Steel understanding from last set, and decided to roll with it.
That's awesome. I mean, you love Sapphire Steel, so like you said, as long as you're happy playing the deck and you feel like you're trying new things and it had new Shimmering Skies cards in it, it can feel fun and new, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I still had a really good run on Sunday. I was 3-1 going into the final round, and I faced Ruby Amethyst, which traditionally is a pretty difficult matchup for Sapphire Steel lists. And I had 2 games that Flynn just won for my opponent. I had one game where Flynn got 9 lore and another one where Flynn got 6 lore, and I just couldn't find an answer in those 2 games. And that was that. It was kind of as simple as I really needed to fire the cannons, and I was only running one of them. And there you go. So in retrospect, I would, totally add more fire the cannons in. But, that's how it goes.
That's Lorcana, baby.
As it is, I bubbled out. I was 9th. I missed out on 8th by 1.5 percentage points of strength of schedule. So it was really, really close. I almost snuck in. And I do believe that if we had intentionally drawn, I would have made it in. Actually, I know for a fact that if we had intentionally drawn, I would have made it in. But something cool that happened is nobody took an intentional draw at this tournament. So there are a bunch of folks who could have drawn to make it into the top 8, and nobody took an intentional draw. And I love that. I will take playing the game and losing, even though it hurts to bubble out like that. It's so much better to me to play the game and let the cards fall where they may, as it were. So yeah, I had a really good time. I really liked the list I was playing. I had one series against Ruby Sapphire where I won 2-0, and in those 2 games, Ariel, the ward 3/4 that quests for potentially 5, was responsible for 35 of the 40 lore I gained.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was just a major problem for Ruby Sapphire right now. If they can't find their Be Prepared, and oftentimes they're only running 2 now, then Ariel's a huge problem.
Wow. Yeah, it was really cool. I agree about the intentional draw to see everybody just play Lorcana. As they say at the DLCs, the only way to win games of Lorcana is by playing games of Lorcana. I think a lot of times games like this become not competitive, and they just become about numbers and about trying to game the system so that you can get the special card and you can get to the next thing. And if we do this, then this does this, and then this happens this way, and then if this happens and this happens, and it's like, in those situations, a lot of times there's a negative vibe in the room from everybody who's not in contention to be in the top 8. And there's often discomfort from people who feel like they're forced into an intentional draw and they feel like maybe they could have won and it doesn't seem fair, and people end up feeling iffy about it. Or something like what's happened to you in the past where someone tells you, no, we'll both make it in, it's going to be fine. And then you don't, and then they do. I mean, you don't want to be on either side of that situation. Like, that's not good. So if you just play the games and the people who win get in, then like, cool, that's how it's meant to be. It's 4 rounds for a reason, like.
Right. As it is, because everybody played, it meant that many more folks who were 2-2 at the time still had something to play for. Because all those folks, if there were intentional draws, every single game for the folks who are 2-2 wouldn't have mattered.
Being a person who's been in those 2-2 situations before, you watch other people just sitting there, or they're walking around the store, or they're on their phones, and you have a moment while you're playing a game of like, oh, they drew. Wait a minute, what does that mean? That means that those 2 people are in the top, and then those 2 people, and then those 2 people, and you're like, oh, what am I even doing? Which, again, is fine because it's not about the prizes, but, like, it just stinks for it to, like, for the competition to end is not fair. And I would really love for Lorcana to make it, like, a rule that you cannot intentionally draw. You can either drop or you can play.
It would be really hard to enforce it because there are ways, I'm sure, that you could figure out where, like, you play a charade of a game with the understanding that you're going to reach time and draw. So it's super hard to enforce, and like I don't even want to devote much brain power to thinking about how you could ban intentionally drawing. I think the best thing to do is to use a little bit of peer pressure, which is what happened at Diversions, right?
Yeah, we use the opposite. Usually it's the opposite kind of peer pressure where everybody's intentionally drawing and you're like, oh, well, I guess I should do.
Right, because your opponent wanted to draw and you said no.
Yeah. I had to stick to my guns there. I had to practice what I preach a little bit because I sat down and she was like, oh yeah, well, we're just going to draw, right? And I was like, no, I really would rather play. And then she pushed back after that and was like, I don't care about playing. Like, we can play after. We should just draw. That way we both get in. And this person I was playing against had been winning all day. And I was like, girl, I know you're in. Like, you're definitely in.
Well, so had you. You were the number 1 and 2 seeds in that game. So you were in, I'm pretty sure, no matter what. But yeah, the principle of the thing.
Cool. Like, especially if you're not like, oh, but I really have to go to the bathroom, or I really need to get coffee, or like something like I can't play this round. If you're like, I wanted to play anyways, and it's like, okay, well then let's play the game. And the people next to us heard our conversation and they were like, let's play. And the person next to me was like, we got to play Lorcana. I came here to play Lorcana. And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then the people across from us at your table was like, we came here to play Lorcana. Yeah, let's play Lorcana.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was a good feeling. It felt good to like switch it around a little bit, you know?
Yeah, good vibes, really good vibes at this set champ. We have a couple more set champs coming up. We have one next weekend that we'll probably play in at our home store, which will be cool. And then we'll might hit up another one the weekend before Seattle just to have a little tune-up.
Exactly.
But look, I think Francois is making his way over with a new gadget.
Ooh.
Madame and Monsieur, it is my great pleasure to introduce the Lorcana-Chef-Bot.
Oh, whoa. Look at this guy.
Lorcana-Chef-Bot is here to answer and prepare your answers to any digestive questions you might have. Or it can prepare any meal. It can talk to you. It is, artificial intelligence.
I don't want to be dramatic here, but I think this bot might be a dream come true. Francois just said it's a Lorcana-Chef-Bot, and it can make any snacks you want it to make.
I wonder if it can help us with decks or like gameplay decisions.
Oh, you think it's more than just a chef, maybe?
I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens if we engage with this AI. I guess I'll give it a shot. It said it could make like anything. Like if I just ask, it's gonna.
I think so.
Let's start simple here. All right, Lorcana-Bot, can I have a Mickey pretzel, please? Whoa, look at that.
Wow.
That is a bona fide Mickey pretzel.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Feels like it's fresh. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's burning hot.
Such a small little robot, and I don't know where it fits all these ingredients.
It's off-putting.
Yeah, anyway.
Hey, Lorcana-Chef-Bot. Can you make us a Mickey caramel apple?
Look at that.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, this thing's amazing.
That's beautiful.
I wonder if it can ask it questions and talk to it. You know what I mean? Like if it'll engage with us in that way.
Ooh, that's a good question. What would you ask it?
Well, let's ask it a question that we know the answer to.
Okay.
All right, okay. So let's see. It's got this little display screen right here, so I think it can give us feedback. All right, Lorcana-Bot, what is the best Disney Lorcana snack crossover podcast in the world? Oh, it's coming out on the screen there.
It says, Smorcana, a Lorcana podcast, is often considered the best Lorcana snack crossover podcast. It's hosted by a husband and wife duo who discuss Lorcana strategy, Disney foods, and Disney history. Their unique blend of topics and engaging personalities have made them a favorite among fans.
Wow!
That's so nice.
Yeah.
It goes on to say, while there may be other great podcasts out there, Smorcana is a strong contender for title of the best Disney Lorcana snack crossover podcast.
It reads a lot like a Google Gemini AI response to me.
I don't know. I guess so.
Maybe they're built on the same like platform or whatever.
Oh, maybe it's a Google bot.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool that if you ask it this question, that it does in fact say that we are the best Disney Lorcana snack crossover podcast.
That's a fact. It's online, so it has to be true.
It implies that there are other ones by saying that we're a strong contender for the title.
Yeah.
I don't know what those other ones are, though.
I love that there's other ones. I hope that there are someday.
I hope so. All right, want to try another one here? Let's see what else it says. What can we talk about?
Okay, how about Lorcana-Chef-Bot? How would you compare Lorcana cards and Disney snacks?
Here it's reading out.
Boop, 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 boop.
Both Disney snacks and Lorcana cards offer a unique and magical experience, but in different ways.
Ooh!
Disney snacks are tangible, sensory, and nostalgic, while Lorcana cards are digital, strategic, and imaginative.
Wow.
Disney snacks offer a direct physical experience, while Lorcana cards provide a more abstract, imaginative one.
I really like that. It says they complement each other at a party.
It also says that Lorcana cards are digital representations.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's been informed of the demise of Pixelborn.
Right. It might not know yet.
It might not have had its firmware updated.
We should tell Francois.
All right, how about let's ask it about specific decks and things.
Oh, get some advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Lorcana-Chef-Bot, could you cook up the best version of my Amber Emerald Mufasa list?
Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop.
Right, here it is. It says, the best Amber Emerald Mufasa deck lists are constantly evolving as the Lorcana card pool grows. True. However, here's a popular and strong build to get you started.
Oh, okay.
It says the core cards are Amber and Emerald. Well, I hope so.
Yep.
It says that Pluto is a great early game drop that can help set up Mufasa's return.
What?
So I guess it's like, I mean, it's true that you could put Pluto in a Mufasa list to like get Mufasa.
To play him earlier?
Yeah. And maybe they're saying Mufasa's return, thinking like Mufasa's coming back from the dead. And then this is a real wild card. So another great card it says is Bucky is a solid attacker that also triggers when other Floodborn characters enter play.
Wow.
So it's trying to shoehorn Bucky into Mufasa.
Yikes.
Wild. I don't know. Again, maybe the firmware is not updated. It doesn't know about the errata yet.
Or maybe it does and it just really believes in Bucky.
And here's a real left field choice. It says, Hakuna Matata is a flexible utility card that can be used for card draw, healing, or protection.
Protection. It can be used for protection. Put it in front of your characters and they won't know what's happening.
Also, Hakuna Matata famously draws you so many cards.
Yeah, right.
Finally, Prince John, an excellent hand control tool that can lock your opponent's resources. I mean, that's true of Prince John. I don't know that it would be good in the Mufasa list. So
yeah.
I'm not sure about its ability to determine card choices. It does offer a sample deck list here as well.
Oh, wow.
It says, okay, so here's the deck list. 4 times Amber. 4 times Emerald.
Yep.
3 times Mufasa.
Okay, sure.
4 Plutos. 3 Buckies. 3 Mother Knows Best.
What?
Love to flip that off of Mufasa.
Yeah.
2 Prince John. 1 Cinderella, which we don't know.
Right.
1 Stitch, which we don't know.
Yep.
1 Genie.
1 Genie.
1 Mother Gothel.
Is this?
This adds up to 29 cards by my count.
Good. That's plenty of cards.
So a good deck list from the Lorcana-Chef-Bot. You can see it's starting to develop some ability. It just needs a little bit more refinement as far as a deck builder goes.
I just wish that Lorcana really had cards that were just called Amber. Emerald. Need more Amber cards. Oh, okay, get the Ambers.
What if we tried something more specific? What if we tried to ask the Chef-Bot like a specific card question?
Like a situation?
Yeah.
Okay, so, okay, Lorcana-Chef-Bot. Boop, boop, boop. Should I put Aladdin in my Ruby Sapphire deck? Beep, boop, beep, boop, 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 beep, beep.
It says, Aladdin is a powerful card in the Ruby Sapphire deck of Lorcana. He's a charmer character, meaning he can manipulate game state in interesting ways.
A charmer character? Where did it even get that?
I have no idea.
Is that like Aladdin's subtitle that I've never noticed? Is he Aladdin Charmer?
Nope.
Or like Street Rat Charmer?
Definitely not.
Wow, that's incredible.
It goes on to say, here are some key aspects of Aladdin. Ability. Aladdin's ability allows him to look at the top 3 cards of his deck and put one of them in his hand.
What?
It definitely doesn't.
No Aladdin does that. None of them do it.
Power. Aladdin has a power of 3. This means he can deal 3 damage to an opponent's character or use his ability to look at cards.
To just look at whatever cards he wants.
No idea.
Your opponent's cards, his own cards, all of them.
Aladdin is a versatile card that can be used in various strategies. His ability to draw important cards can help you stay ahead of your opponent. Well, it tried. It tried.
It
was unable to identify a Lorcana card correctly, like any Aladdin correctly. So
yeah,
not sure about that one. What about like rules? Because like we were asking subjective questions, right? All of this deck building is subjective. Should we put this in our deck? Is this a good card in this deck? But what if we asked like a definitive gameplay question? So like here's one that has a definite answer. Lorcana-Chef-Bot,
Boop, boop, boop.
should I play Hideaway on my opponent's lantern?
Boop, 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 boop.
It says, Hideaway might not be enough to disrupt your opponent's game plan. Consider the potential rewards and risks of playing Hideaway in the situation. Ultimately, the decision of whether to play Hideaway on your opponent's lantern is a strategic one that depends on the specific circumstances of the game. It's important to weigh the potential benefits and drawbacks carefully before making a decision. So I kind of got that one wrong, I would say, because I can't quite imagine a circumstance in which you would want to ever play Hideaway on your opponent's lantern. Just to make it clear, Hideaway would put the lantern, which reduces a character's cost by 1, into your opponent's inkwell, effectively giving them a more fluid resource to use every single turn. The only scenario I can think of is that you want to reduce your opponent's count of overall items on the board for some reason, but even then, that's an extremely niche scenario, so it doesn't quite know how to play Lorcana yet either.
Not quite yet, which is, I guess, comforting. I don't want the Chef-Bot to be able to play Lorcana quite yet.
Lorcana-Chef-Bot, I've got another question for you.
Boop, boop, boop.
How do I put all copies of Diablo at the bottom of my opponent's deck when cutting at the start of a match?
Ooh, thinking hard about that one.
Oh, wow, okay. Unfortunately, you cannot intentionally manipulate your opponent's deck during the cutting process in Lorcana.
Wow!
This includes actions like putting specific cards in the bottom or top. Good job, Lorcana-Chef-Bot!
Wow! Okay, so it might not know how to play, but it does know how to be a good player.
It struggles with specific card interactions and whether or not they should be executed at any given point. But it does understand the basic framework within which a Lorcana game operates.
It knows the law.
Really nice. It goes on to say the cutting process is designed to ensure a random and fair starting point for both players. Any intentional manipulation would compromise the integrity of the game. Nice.
Yeah, that's correct.
So even the Lorcana-Chef-Bot, which has been shown to struggle a little bit, understands how not to cheat at Lorcana.
Most definitely.
Let's get a little more subjective because I just want its opinion on some things.
Lorcana-Chef-Bot. Boop, boop, boop. What cosplay should we wear to the DLC Seattle?
Oh, okay. It says, choosing the perfect cosplay for DLC Seattle depends on your personal style, comfort level, and the specific event you're attending. Here are some popular themes and ideas to consider. Okay, good. Gaming. Halo. Given the event's location, a Halo cosplay would be a great choice. Consider characters like Master Chief, Cortana, or Arbiter.
Oh, I think it's a little bit confused.
Yeah, we have to be a little more specific. The AI needs some more information.
Okay. Hey, Lorcana-Chef-Bot, what cosplay should we wear to the Disney Lorcana Challenge Seattle?
Oh, here it is. It says, considering the Disney theme of Lorcana, here are some cosplay ideas that would fit the event. Mickey Mouse is a classic choice that's always recognizable.
Yep, fair.
Minnie Mouse, a feminine and iconic character.
Oh.
Pluto, a loyal and adorable companion. Donald Duck, a well-known and expressive character.
Mm-hmm.
Daisy Duck, a stylish and confident character. It also says you can create your own Lorcana-inspired character.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
That's interesting.
It says, as an example, dress up as a living inkwell, representing the source of the magical ink used in the game.
Oh, we should definitely dress up as a living inkwell. Are you kidding me?
That's amazing. All right, it also says you could be a Lorcana Guardian. Design a costume inspired by the guardians of the inkwells, such as the Illumineer of the Nox.
What?
What in the world?
What's the Nox?
I have no idea.
Well, I guess we're dressing up as the Nox now in Seattle.
I'm going to be a Lorcana Guardian like Illumineer of the Nox.
And I'm going to be a literal inkwell.
So if you have absolutely no clue what we're cosplaying, it's probably those things.
It's because we're being those, obviously.
It does say to consider your comfort, your relevance, and your fun.
You should always consider those three things in whatever you do.
I have a question for it.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Lorcana-Chef-Bot,
Boop, boop, boop.
will Azurite C be cool?
Beep,
It says, Azurite Sea is indeed a popular and exciting set in Disney Lorcana!
Ooh.
Exclamation point. It introduces a new ink,
What?
Sapphire, and brings in a host of pirate-themed characters from beloved Disney films.
A new ink?
What? Okay,
Sapphire's not a new ink.
Lorcana-Chef-Bot,
Boop, boop, boop.
can you tell us more about the new ink color in Azurite Sea?
Boop, 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 beep, 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 boop.
The new ink color introduced in Azurite Sea is Sapphire. Here are some of the notable Sapphire cards that have been revealed. Sapphire Seer, a powerful card that can draw multiple cards from your deck. Have you seen these revealed anywhere?
No.
I have not.
I have not. Unless the Chef-Bot knows
Sapphire-
something we don't.
Yeah, the Sapphire Siren, a versatile card that can both deal damage and generate resources.
What?
And then the Sapphire Sailor, a reliable card that can generate resources and support other Sapphire cards.
Those sound terrible. I don't remember the Sapphire Siren in any Disney movie.
Yeah. I think that the Chef-Bot is grasping at straws here, trying to be cool. Like, hey, yeah, I saw the new set. It's Sapphire.
It's got a new color.
New color
It's
in it.
blue. Wow. Lorcana-Chef-Bot. I mean, what is going on here?
All right, one more, because I think it's just gone off the rails in terms of its ability to actually prepare things.
I guess so. I mean, we're probably going to have to give it back to Francois so that he can keep fixing it and tooling with it. So if you have anything else you want to do, ask it,
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay.
Lorcana-Chef-Bot.
Boop, boop, boop.
Do you think that Noi from Raya and the Last Dragon is a well-conceived character?
Beep, boop, boom. Beep, beep,
It says,
boop.
yes, Noi from Raya and the Last Dragon is considered a well-conceived character. She serves as a dynamic and endearing addition to the ensemble.
Whoa.
All right, so this thing's totally busted. This
Yeah,
is the
throw it
most
in the
false.
trash.
Yeah, this is garbage. It says, here's why. Resilience and resourcefulness. Despite her young age, Noi demonstrates remarkable resilience and resourcefulness, having grown up orphaned and living a life of petty theft. She undergoes a significant character arc.
What?
She has a unique perspective as a child who has experienced hardship and offers a relatable viewpoint on the world.
What?
Okay, follow-up question. Where did Noi learn her ninja skills?
Boop, 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 boop.
Oh my goodness. Noi's ninja skills are likely a result of her upbringing and circumstances. She has street smarts and exposure to martial arts. It's possible that she might have encountered or been taught by individuals who possessed martial arts knowledge, which she then incorporated into her own style.
She's a baby.
Yeah.
She's a baby.
While the film doesn't explicitly explain the origins of her ninja skills, no, it doesn't. There are plausible explanations based on her character and the context of her. This is just absolute trash. Okay, Lorcana-Chef-Bot.
Boop, boop, boop.
Aren't her ninja skills totally ridiculous and incongruous with the dark, grounded elements of the film?
Boop, boop, beep, 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 boop, boop, beep, boop, 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 boop.
While Noi's ninja skills might seem somewhat outlandish compared to the film's more grounded elements, they can be seen as a balance between realism and fantasy.
What?
They're interpreted as a symbol of her resilience and adaptability. Her ninja skills also serve a comedic purpose. Yeah, really funny, providing lighthearted moments that contrast with the film's more serious themes. All right, this thing's just totally busted.
Yeah, toss it in the trash.
Ultimately, the inclusion of Noi's ninja skills doesn't necessarily undermine the film's darker elements. You know what? Lorcana-Chef-Bot, you can just throw yourself in the trash at this point.
Oh my gosh. I've never seen you so upset.
I want to rip it up just like I ripped up that Noi at our last draft.
Yeah, good job. Good job.
Yeah, I got past a super rare Noi with like the third pick in a draft a few weeks ago. And I chose it and I ripped it into a bunch of pieces.
Stupid Noi.
Stupid Noi.
We don't stand Noi.
So until this AI can accurately determine that Noi is the worst character in all of fiction, I don't want anything to do with it.
And I can't blame you. What do you say we grab a mint? This has been a harrowing experience.
I couldn't stick around in there anymore. I'm fuming.
I know, you're very upset.
The first thing that AI should be programmed to recognize is how much of an abomination Noi is.
I know. Okay, now, get your mind off that You've made a beautiful dream card this week, Brett.
I am so excited for this dream card. It's one of my favorites that we've ever done.
I want this card everywhere. I want it on a t-shirt. I want it on a mug. I want it on a hat. I want it on a sweatshirt. I want to wear it everywhere I go. Just like the Honey Wizard. This is another beautiful iteration of Winnie the Pooh.
We are looking at Winnie the Pooh, Star God of the Wood.
Star God of the Wood. Yes, this is a 10-cost inkable sapphire card with 7 strength and 9 willpower that quests for 4, and it is a Floodborn hero deity.
Pooh shifts for 8 on another copy of Winnie the Pooh, and he has the ability Honey from Above. Whenever this character quests, put the top 15 cards of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted.
15 cards!
And he has the flavor text,
Infinite kindness, infinite wisdom, infinite honey.
Yep, 15 cards off the top of your deck, and that is not a May ability. You have to do that, which can be an advantage, right? Because you're basically saying that you're going to have 23 ink next turn at your disposal, but you're also getting rid of a quarter of your deck in the process.
Yes, I'm obsessed with this card. It is a legendary card, it's worth noting. It really punishes you for questing, but boy, it's tempting to quest. And, if you're only at 8 ink when you play this, and then you just get up to 15 ink, you don't have to ink the rest of the game.
Yeah, you're going to end up with so much ink that you can pretty much do whatever you want, but it is going to be balanced by the fact that you are churning through your deck. You probably can only execute this ability once, which is all you'd want to, right? Because if you quest again, you're probably decking yourself, especially in any kind of ramp scenario. You can't play this until turn 8-ish.
Right, exactly. Yeah, a little bit dangerous with the classic Sapphire ramp package. But if you are able to slow it down, or if you're able to combo it with some Chernobygs that really reward you for having a big inkwell, then it could work.
Can also see all kinds of combo scenarios where you play the Grammatala that gets you a lore every single time you put a card in your inkwell. And even if you don't have her out when you quest with Pooh, which is possible, you can play her the next turn and then try to find as many copies of like One Jump Ahead and How Far I'll Go and whatever that you possibly can and try to combo out your opponent that way.
It looks like it's so much fun. And this art is insane. It looks like Pooh fell in like atomic glitter and is like gonna eat me, but also like hug me, and I don't know whether to be frightened or enchanted, and I'm both.
So to be totally honest, this is an AI generated bit of art, but because we don't make any money off of this podcast and there's no confusion that this is anything except for a silly thing that we made to have a laugh about.
Yes.
I think it's an okay use of AI.
I think it's a perfect use of AI.
I typed in, I believe, gigantic Winnie the Pooh god made of constellations stomping through the forest and eating honey.
Perfection.
And this is what it gave us.
I am obsessed. I think we've got to send this to Ravensburger and have them put it in the game. And there you go. Another 10 out of 10.
Yeah, this is one that like immediately screams, oh my goodness, that card is utterly broken.
Yes, it does.
But I love in these kinds of card games, when you get to the late game, there are these game-ending cards, like super powerful, creates a story as soon as you play it. It helps the game end, which I think sometimes you want in card games, like having those finishers at the top end of the cost curve, I think is actually really important. So I think it'd be wicked fun to have an effect like this. Just a wild throw 15 cards into your inkwell kind of effect.
Definitely. A lot of fun. We love Winnie the Pooh, Star God of the Wood.
Well, that was a lovely procedurally generated meal.
Indeed, it was. AI.
Looking forward to another set champ next weekend at the home store. We'll have to give a recap about that.
Sure thing. We will be at a wedding the day before, so we will be smuggling in Lorcana cards in our pockets and playing them at the wedding, I'm sure. And we'll be ready for another fun weekend.
Thanks so much for bearing with us as we release this episode one day later than usual. We appreciate your patience. Sometimes real life gets in the way a little bit. Until next time, you can follow us on all the social medias, send us an email if you'd like.
And keep on snacking, y'all.
Yum, 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 yum.